Christians around the world celebrating Good Friday today, marking the death of Christ on the cross. It also marks the end of Lent for Catholics who are fasting for 40 days in the lead up to Easter. For more on this, we're joined by our reporter Reginald Witbook and video journalist Lereko Motseko in Kimberley. So, Reginald, let's just first start with those around you that you've spoken to. How have they found celebrating this Easter period?
A very good evening to you, Tsepi. So, what I can tell you is that we are here at the St. Mary's Cathedral in Kimberley. Now, the service is still ongoing here at the cathedral, where congregants came out to remember the crucifixion of Jesus Christ when he was nailed onto that cross, and when he also shouted when he was nailed on the cross, my God, why have you forsaken me? But on the third day he rose again, when an angel descended from heaven, and then he appeared in a raiment white as snow. But also, which is very important, is what you mentioned, is that lead up to the celebration of Easter, the 40-day of Lent. And I am now joined by Alvin Lottering, who is a congregant here at the St. Mary's Cathedral. A very good evening to you, Alvin, and thank you so much for your time. Just tell us, what does Easter mean to you?
Reginald, good evening, and thank you so much for the interview. Reginald, the Easter celebration, the Easter festive season, is a season of self-reflection and recalculation, which started traditionally on Ash Wednesday, a 40-day celebration of personal reflection, and just to remind us of our existence and what value we need to add to each other's lives.
And also, talking about the Lent period, did you sacrificing anything during the period?
Reginald, as personal as the question may be, I gave up one fundamental personal character trait, and that is to be judgmental, or to be rather less judgmental. I believe in the mantra of each to their own, and for that reason I endeavor to be less judgmental, not only for the 40 days but beyond, and to make it a personal experience. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're going to leave it there. Well, Tsepi, so that was Alvin Lottering just telling us the importance of Easter and what it means to him as a human being, just to reflect. And also earlier on we spoke to a referent saying that it's all about having faith, having hope, having love, and also reflect on what Christ did on the cross by sacrificing his life.
Reginald, as you mentioned, a sacred time for some, but I see that there are other events that are being advertised for the Northern Cape, Kimberley specifically. Are people sharing with you in what other ways they'll be observing this period?
Well, Tsepi, so earlier on, it's also important to mention that Jewish people refer to it as Passover, and they are also celebrating this period. We spoke to an imam earlier on SA Today, Imam Adam Feldman, and we know that the Muslim community, they are going through the Ramadan period as they gear towards the end of Ramadan to celebrate Eid al-Fitr. So it's important to also mention all the other religions as we are celebrating Easter this period. But many who I've spoken to, they are saying that it's all about reflection and what Christ did on the cross, that they will never be able to maybe sacrifice their lives for somebody else, and on the third day rose again. But this is a very significant period on the Christian calendar this weekend.
I was just thinking, Reginald, obviously this is a countrywide problem, but as people were giving up certain things for Lent as part of the prayer and supplication, observing this holy period. There are people who are actually going without, not by choice. We've seen people suffering because of high levels of unemployment, shortage of water and energy. It certainly is a difficult period for some. What are you able to share with us about those who are undergoing such conditions?
Well, Tipi, so it's a scourge that's plaguing many of us. We know that we are sitting with social ills in our community, people living on the streets, people who are trying their utmost best to make ends meet. So what the referent also mentioned to me earlier on is that we need to be humans ourselves and be mindful of lending a helping hand to others who are really in dire need.
All right, thanks, Reginald Witbook, my colleague who's out there in Kimberley, just speaking to some people about how they are spending this Easter Passover period.